What's up, everybody? I'm Persia. This is Jackie Tran, and you're watching The Breakdown. Yes, what's up, everybody? Welcome to The Breakdown. We are going to be holding it down for some recent events, some upcoming events, everything in between.
Yeah, so we got a couple of events we're going to cover. We're going to do Red Bull, we're going to do DreamHack Atlanta, and we're going to cover the Tekken World Tour. So
yeah, and that's just a few to name. We have a little bit, of other details to throw in there. But for the time being, let's break the ice. As we are in the theme of breaking things down, this is the first episode. This is a collaboration between myself, Jackie Tran, and GamingLyfe, and we just want to talk about some esports. We just want to break some things down for you guys because a lot of the time when people are watching a lot of competitive esports, there's more than meets the eye, right?
That's right. Yeah. Well, my story is I'm a Tekken player. I've been in Las Vegas for about 5 or 6 years. So
the gaming capital of the world.
Gaming capital of the world, that's right. And now I'm excited for this opportunity to bring you guys some esports here with Persia, and yeah, let's rock and roll.
I mean, I feel like he's underselling himself a little bit. This is a world champion we're talking about. This is someone who has played and competed for many, many, many years and has also taken home that gold. So having his input on some of the esports shenanigans we're going to be seeing this season is pretty important. So come on, don't sell yourself short, okay?
Sorry, I'm just a humble, shy guy. But yeah, I am a former Evo champion. I'm trying to win another one. So I'm going to share my experience with you guys and bring you guys some esports at the same time. And I'm super excited. So
yeah, and as for myself, I've been competing for a long time, but I kind of really found my way with gaming when it came to commentating and hosting events. The last year, I've been spending a lot of time doing so and kind of just honing my craft, but also getting to witness a lot of the really cool and hype matches, the rivalries, the intense, X factor that is between all of these players in general. We come from a fighting game background, but I feel like all of esports has its place, and that's why we want to bring this show to you guys so we can, hype it up and break it down and kind of give everything a spotlight that it deserves. So with that said, recent events.
Yeah, recent events. So are you going to tell us about your recent trip to Washington, D.C. for Red Bull?
Yes, indeed. Red Bull Conquest. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know what Red Bull Conquest was or wasn't aware of what Red Bull Conquest was doing, it was a year-long circuit, pretty much an entire season, in which Red Bull wanted everyone to get really excited about repping their region. They went city to city. There was 15 cities that we visited. There was one online qualifier, and all of these cities came together at the DC finals, which was not too long ago, just like a week ago. And we got to figure out who was the best region. However, there was a twist. It wasn't region locked. Every event, every qualifying event that led up to the finals, it wasn't, only if you lived in this area you could enter. Anyone can enter, which meant the hometown heroes had to defend against all the invaders going, toe-to-toe with them every single event. So that was fun in and of itself. The results were pretty interesting, to say the least. Let's just get right to it, shall we? Let's just get right to it. Team New York won Red Bull Conquest. However, they won because Lost Soul placed second place. For Red Bull Conquest, every region had 3 representatives. It was a representative for Guilty Gear, a representative for Street Fighter, a representative for Tekken 7, right? So all the teams had to, I don't know, win their tournament and then represent their region and then play in a tournament at the finals, right? So Team New York, Punk came in from Philly. He infiltrated and he won, beating IDOM. IDOM got second. That was a heartbreaker for me, okay? I really wanted an all New York team, which we were very, very close. We had Lost Soul, we had Fighting GM, and then IDOM got second place. So total heartbreaker for me, but it was fine. It was fine because I knew in the end, if he's gonna come and invade New York, then we get to have him represent New York in the finals, in which they won. So I'll hold that, everybody else. I don't care. I will ride the OS as long as I can, and that's it, right? But there was something else. Once the finals came along, GM didn't show up.
Ooh.
The Tekken 7 representative for Team New York did not show up, and they still won as a Tekken person. How do you feel about that?
I don't know how I feel about it. I actually competed in the LCQ also, so I feel a little salt on that note. But, you know, GM didn't actually have to show up. So, you know, New York carried the torch. They did so well that GM didn't actually have to show up, and they still qualified and they still went. So, shout outs to New York. You know, they're super strong. And
I'm sorry, it's just funny because, like, yeah, New York is super strong, which I already knew. But New York is strong because Punk won Street Fighter for us. What?
Right.
What? It's like it's really difficult to claim that victory, but I'm gonna do it anyways. But yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, Philadelphia. You know, we decided to go to New York. Maybe he wanted to represent a stronger city. So.
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna go with that one. From here on out for sure. And I don't know. Like, you participated in the LCQ. Talk a little bit about that. I know there was some upsets, to say the least.
Well, the LCQ was pretty stacked. There were some players in there, besides myself, Mr. Wayne Gamble, Anakin, and a lot of other players that didn't quite get their chance of qualifying for this Red Bull Conquest. So the player Sour Piggy, actually, who plays Anna Williams, which is a new character for Season 2, really surprised us and actually beat all of us. And he actually qualified, won the LCQ, and he actually made it really far into the top 8 of the actual bracket. So shout outs to him. And
so why do you think that is? His new character, right? What about her was so, you know, off-putting? Like, what really shook up the meta for you guys?
I think maybe we underestimated a new character. You know, we might have said, we're okay, we know her, we played her before in the past. So maybe we underestimated her capabilities, her power, and, you know, he snuck up on us, so. Yeah.
Oh, which shows you guys, these games are always adding DLC. They're always adding updates and patches and things you have to learn and keep up with. This is a champion right here, and a brand new character comes along, and just because you're a champion doesn't mean you can sleep. You gotta hit the lab, you gotta do that studying, or you know what I mean?
You gotta hit the lab, do some breakdowns.
Yep. You gotta break it down, which is so true. Which also reminds me, we have some other events to talk about, recent events. DreamHack Atlanta. Okay. Going a little too ahead of ourselves right now. There are a few things about Red Bull Conquest weekend that I do want to highlight, because we did talk about the winners of Conquest, but the same weekend we also had the North American Regional Finals of the Capcom Cup. That was kind of intertwined within Red Bull Conquest. There was also another LCQ to enter into the NA Regional Finals, right?
Who won
that was CJ Truth, which was pretty amazing to watch, right?
Yeah.
Anybody who's been watching a lot of fighting games in the past few years will remember CJ Truth from a lot of CEO events. He did really well there. He did really well in, you know, various majors on his up and up. But this was his first major win, this LCQ for the NA Regional Finals. And it was no easy feat either. He beat a lot of heavy hitters on his way to fight against Tokido, probably one of the greatest fighting game players of all time.
He's the greatest in my opinion. So.
My opinion too. All right, you're lucky. We might have had to, you know, fight a little bit if that was different. But but yes, like Tokido, he is a god. He's amazing. And CJ Truth beat him. And it wasn't even like an easy matchup. It wasn't. He played against Tokido in winners finals, and he lost, which meant he had to fight Tokido in 2 sets.
Ooh.
If you think you can fight Tokido in 2 sets, I'm sorry, but you can't.
Yeah.
But CJ Truth did, and he won, and it was actually amazing. And you can just see it all over his face that he was so excited about this win because it was one of his first major wins. It actually solidified his position in Capcom Cup coming up next month right here in Las Vegas. And it was also just fun to watch in general because both players were adapting to each other on the fly every game. They did one trick, they did one, autopilot thing, downloaded. Next game, the other person figured something out. So they were really back and forth, they were really neck and neck. But CJ Truth managed to clutch it out. If you guys go back and watch winners final, right? CJ Truth kind of showed his youth going for a wake up super.
Ooh.
Wake up super against Tokido.
Inspiration.
Let me see if you guys can guess. Did Tokido block it? Yes, he did, because it's Tokido, okay? You do not wake up super against Tokido. And after that, CJ Truth was up in that set, too. He did the wake up super. Tokido blocked it. Tokido ran it all the way back and beat CJ Truth, which is why CJ Truth had to fight so hard in grand finals to reset the bracket. But aside from that, he managed to overcome Tokido. It was awesome to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does in Capcom Cup next month. So shout outs again to you, CJ Truth. Keep doing your thing. Keep, playing the game, studying, because that was something else that, he talked with me about when we were over at Red Bull Conquest, is that he's played Tokido so much this year. And if it wasn't for him actually going back and labbing out some of these things, then, you don't get the full experience out of playing against such godlike players. So if you ever get an opportunity to play against somebody who's a top tier player or something like that, even if it's pools, even if it's off stream, get a friend to record it for you. Watch it over again. Find out where you went wrong. Go in the lab. Practice it. This is how we break it down. This is how we level up. This is how we get better at fighting games, and maybe you'll win the next LCQ into some Capcom Cup. But until then, you're just going to have to watch us talk about it. So let's keep it moving. I feel like I've efficiently covered what I wanted to cover.
Very nice.
For this
Very
segment.
nice coverage of Red Bull. I don't know if to give credit to Tokido or CJ Truth. I don't know if Tokido was maybe saving some for the Capcom Cup.
Maybe.
Or just shout outs to CJ Truth for doing a great job and taking him out. So.
Mm-hmm. But we know Tokido has kind of been determined to gatekeep this whole tournament. His only purpose to go to Red Bull Conquest that weekend was to gatekeep the LCQ for Capcom Cup,
Yeah, he's
which
already
I
qualified,
respect.
right?
Yeah, he's already in there. But still, the fact that he's taking his time and effort to go and even do that means the competition is going to be at an all-time high for Capcom Cup. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that too, because we are going to be covering that in just a few short weeks.
Yeah, we have Capcom Cup coming to town, Las Vegas, the gaming capital of the world. Capcom has decided to do their Capcom Cup 2018 here at the HyperX Esports Arena. So shout outs to that, and look forward to some coverage for that soon. So
exactly. Yeah. All right. Now I know I got ahead of myself before, but we're going to keep it rolling. DreamHack Atlanta.
ATL, that's where I'm from. Shout outs to Atlanta.
Yes, of course. Probably one of my favorite places to visit too for events. Shout out to Final Round and other various things. E-League, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Shout out to E-League. I was blessed to take a part of that event. So
yeah, shout out to them putting our games on live television. What more can we ask for? But aside from that, DreamHack Atlanta, they hosted a medley of esports that weekend. It was actually kind of crazy. We had HCS, we had Brawlhalla, we had Paladins and Smite, we had Hearthstone, CSGO, and Soul Calibur. There was just too many games, almost. I mean, I know that sentence is like non-existent. Too many games? No such thing. But wow, one event having so many games, and it wasn't even the fact that they just had tournaments for these games. It was finals weekend for a lot of these esports events.
It was almost like Worlds for a lot of these games. Mm-hmm. So this event was super stacked, a lot of prize money on the line.
Exactly,
a lot of cheddar.
Thousands and thousands of dollars on the line during DreamHack. But we are gonna hone in. We are going to break down some Soul Calibur right now, and we brought a very special guest. We are phoning them in through the good old Skype right now. We are bringing him in through the waves.
Technology.
Yes, technology is amazing. So we have TS Bibulus on deck for us right now, who's going to break down some of the DreamHack Soul Calibur 6 tournament, one of the first big events since the release of the game, because it's interesting to see all these different people from Soul Calibur communities, NRS communities, different eras of the communities come together in this iteration right now and kind of go head to head. So, Bibulus, are you there? Can you hear us?
How's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Ooh, yeah, we can. What's up? Sounding nice and crispy right now. We are definitely looking forward to your breakdown.
Awesome. I'm happy I get to talk with you guys about some Soul Calibur 6 this week. The games are fire. But unfortunately, the way we started it was not quite so much. We had Sane versus Linkors. Or no. Sane versus Dragon was up first. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sane versus Dragon was up first, and Sane cooked that kid. That was a pretty clean 3-0 in winners finals. And this, all right, hold on. Let's take a step back. Let's talk about a little bit about the storylines. Right now, we have Sane representing the Soul Calibur 5 players versus Dragon representing the NRS boys.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. We definitely have a couple of NRS boys up sitting in that top 8 because Sonic Fox is on the other side of losers.
Ooh.
And I don't think anybody expected Dragon to be this good this quickly. Like, he's been showing out really strong, but he did get cooked by the man Sane coming out of New York in that Ivy Mirror match.
I mean, it's early in the game, He is a champion himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's Sane. He almost did the Big E trifecta. Like, I forget which one he missed, but between NEC, Winter, or hold on, I may be wrong about that. I think I'm talking about something. All right, let's just go to the next match. Let's go to the next match. I think Sane won Winter Brawl this year.
Ooh,
Yes.
Sonic Fox.
Yes.
Honestly, one of my favorite players. I'm not going to lie. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's one of the best of all time. It's hard not to like that kid's gameplay. And he plays so many games. Like, he's currently one of the best Dragon Ball FighterZ players in the world.
Oh,
along with one of the best DOA players in the world, and one of the best Skullgirls player in the world, and one of the best Soul Calibur players in the world.
One of the best, period.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this new character he's playing?
As well is a very interesting character. He changes modes very quickly. He has 3 different sets of weapons. And if he just swung one, he can swing that same weapon again quickly. But if he swings a different one, it's incredibly slower. So he can feel really awkward at first as a player. And playing against him, it feels frustrating because it can be very simplistic. He doesn't have a lot of options that are always fast, but he's a crazy character, man. He's got a lot of weaknesses people aren't exploiting yet, and you see him all over tournaments nowadays.
Scoot over just a little bit. Just a little scoot.
Oh, yeah.
Scoot.
Yes, the guy he's sitting next to, Mr. Party Wolf, he definitely told the Fox, move over, this is my turn, because I don't know if you've looked at what Mother Nature says, but foxes are on the menu for dragons or for wolves.
Okay, fair enough.
I think everything's on the menu for dragons except Sane. Sane was not on the menu for the dragon. Okay. But yeah, that match was actually insane. That's one that I definitely recommend you guys go through and take a look at if you want to check out some videos. That goes down to the wire, and Party Wolf clutched it out at the end, made its way to winners finals. So up next after that one, we have losers bracket. We're going to see SC4 boys versus SC5 boys. We have Zefukai on the left and Linkors on the right. Now, Linkors has been on fire. He just won East Coast Throwdown, which was the biggest. That was a release weekend tournament, but it was the biggest tournament since the game's release before this one.
Where is he from?
He is from New York.
Ooh, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. New York boys showed up.
New York?
Definitely.
I mean, what else is there?
Yeah, but this Zeph is a champion from Soul Calibur 5. He went on a tear where he didn't lose a tournament for, I want to say, over a year. And that in any game is an incredibly remarkable run. But he could not quite clutch it out today in that tournament against Link. Link actually 3-0'd him. But it's one of those 3-0s, like if you look at the clips, every match was 5th round. And he lost in a 4th round situation, but it was because he dropped a punish to make it to the 5th round.
That's always the worst. Like, you don't want to be dropping those, especially in a tournament like
Finish your
that.
plate.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, that we've all been there, and it hurts for that to be your only match in top 8, and it's in losers. But I'm sure we'll see a lot more of Zefukai down the road. He is a phenomenal player.
It's early for Soul Calibur, right?
Yeah, definitely. And he's been bouncing around characters. Like last I checked, he was not playing Zhonghua, and now he is playing Zhonghua. So who knows what we'll see from this guy coming forward. And he's definitely feeling himself coming out on stage. Okay.
Sorry, he was dancing, you know? I had to get in there, too. I was like, I feel it.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta
That dude,
keep
I love
it
that dude.
loose
He's a
in
real fun guy to hang out with.
All right, so what is this new character here on the right?
The new character, that's Geralt. He is from The Witcher.
Game of the year, I heard.
Oh, yeah. It's a he is a very interesting fit for this game. He fits both
them good
thematically.
crossovers, huh?
He looks like he belongs in the game. It makes sense from the storyline he comes from. Yeah, I really like the idea of Geralt as a guest character in this game.
All right, cool.
And up next, hold on, what match do we have up next? We have the old school classic. Mick versus RTD. Yes, this is losers. No, this is not 2005. Yeah, back in those days, those guys would go around and they would tell people that no one in the world could beat them because it looked like they were right.
Wow.
And they had their reign of pain, but those days have come and gone. And now these guys get to slug it out in losers top 8, which unfortunately is kind of a wash for Mick this time around. He may have gotten 3-0'd. It looked like he was a little bit unfamiliar dealing with Aswell. Like I mentioned before, he's a very he's a tricky character to deal with because he's got so many different modifiers on what his buttons do. And Rob is sitting there saying, I've played against Zhonghua for the past 15 years. Whereas Mick is on the side of, I've played against Aswell for about 15 minutes. And
the advantage.
Yeah, Rob, he has been known to take advantage. He has been known to pick a top tier.
So Mick is going with what he knows. And Rob
Yeah,
is going with
most
what he knows.
definitely. All right, so coming along after that one, we have Link Ors versus Sonic Fox. Now, the last time I saw these guys play, it was at the grand finals of East Coast Throwdown, and Link beat Sonic in an incredibly clean fashion. He literally only dropped one game for that entire tournament.
Okay.
And the game that he dropped was against Sonic Fox, and he dropped that game after dropping a kill combo.
So he tried to be fancy, didn't he?
No, not really. He just dropped an input and then came back in the next game.
Like he almost had a perfect run. Just one flip-flop.
Yeah.
This was not nearly as convincing. That was a last match game versus Sonic Fox.
Very humble man.
Yeah, you know, it's actually kind of amazing that he's able to step into a lot of these new games and just still show that he is one of the best in the world. Like, it doesn't matter if it's new or not.
Yeah. Well, Sonic Fox, he's been playing Soul Calibur for a very long time. Little known fact, the first time I was in a tournament with that guy. It was Winter Brawl 2012, and we both made top 8 in Soul Calibur 5. That was actually one of my first events ever,
by the way. Shout out to Winter Brawl. The last Winter Brawl was this past year. You know.
So you're saying that he came from Soul Calibur?
Technically, he came from DOA, but the first tournament I remember him winning was Mortal Kombat 9, and the first tournament I remember watching him play was Soul Calibur 5, and that was in 2012. That's 6 years ago. He is no stranger to Soul Calibur.
Yeah. So, you know, we're going to be looking out for him this year and, you know, without a doubt, in multiple games.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please. He's a world-class player in anything he picks up. He is the man to beat. And it's incredible watching him play as well.
Yeah, what's next from DreamHack?
Yeah, what is next from DreamHack? We have Dragon versus RTD. All right, now we got the old boys versus the young boys. RTD started playing competitively in Soul Calibur 1, and this is before Dragon was even born. Yeah. Yeah, Rob.
But is that going to matter in this match?
Is that going to matter in this match? In this match, the young man reactions definitely played out.
Ooh. So sometimes experience isn't always a thing, you guys.
Yeah. RTD did not. He could not hold it down for the old school this time around, but still 5th place, really strong showing from an old man. This guy is in his 40s, and he has 3 kids. He has a full-time job. He hardly gets any practice time.
And
but
he's still out here busting that ass. I respect that so much. I respect it so much.
Exactly. All right.
A lot of Ivy being played. How is she in this game?
Yeah, there are 3, or no, there's 2 Ivies. I think there's only 2 Ivies in this top 8. There should only be Sane and Dragon.
Okay.
I want to say the only repeat, or actually there's 3 repeat characters. There's 2 Zhonghuas. They both went out in the first round of losers, being Mick and Zefukai. There's 2 Ivy players that played in one side of winners semis. And there are 2 Aswell players, Sonic Fox, who was in winners, and RTD, who was in losers.
Okay.
All right, and going forward, yeah, actually at the end of that match, Dragon sits there tapping his head, and if you can see him in the background, he's actually cleaning up. He galaxy brained himself so hard that he did not realize he wasn't the next match.
Oops.
Trying to sit on stage looking slick. And after that, we have Sane versus Party Wolf. Yeah. Sane, by the way, voted most likely to win a Prince lookalike contest in this top 8. His shirt is really shiny. I don't know if you guys could see it that well from where you're sitting, but it's like, it's not dots. It's actually like sparkly shiny.
So Sung Mina good in this matchup, or?
Sung Mina is Party Wolf's secondary, and he thinks Killick is his worst matchup is Ivy, in his opinion. And Party Wolf has been long known to pick secondary to counterpick his bad matchups. In 2012, during Soul Calibur 5, he did that by playing what was it called? Aswell, or not Aswell, Algol. Yes, he played Algol to pick up his bad matchups in 5, and now he's picked up Sung Mina to deal with that Ivy matchup in 6.
Wow, so Sung Mina just does a little bit better than Killick in the matchup, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty clean 3-0 from Party Wolf too. He secured his spot in the in the grand finals, looking pretty easy. He cooked that man, Sane. And then it comes back to next match should be Dragon, who's actually the next match now, versus Linkors. And yes, loser gets 4th. We're almost, the winner advances to losers finals. And then Linkor is playing Grow now. I think this is the 3rd character he's played in this top 8. And this matchup is actually incredibly close. It comes down to the line. Really close. It's another one I definitely recommend you should look up if you want to check out some cool Soul Calibur matches from this tournament and not watch the entire top 8. But unfortunately for him, Linkor's run ends in 4th place, and Dragon moves on. So up next, now we're going to have the losers finals. We have our Prince lookalike contest winner versus Mr. Galaxy Brain himself in a rematch. In winners, the Dragon got cooked pretty solid. It was a 3-0. But as we've seen with top players, the run back is never the same. You're gonna the guy who lost, he's gonna learn, he's gonna be real tight that he held all that nonsense. He's gonna come back and he's gonna figure out what he has to do to change things up. And this match comes right down to the wire.
Yeah, and on top of that, when people are fighting from the losers bracket, most times they're warmed up, right? They're ready. Like by the time they get back to the rematch, they've already played a few. They're feeling good about it. So
exactly, yeah. The guy, especially the guy in Party Wolf, he hasn't played a match in probably like 20 minutes since he played winners finals at that point. And Sane comes off of, or no, that's the next one. But yeah, Sane ends up taking this match down, even though it was what it was. We have a
Mirror. Is there anything to be said about that?
That's a crazy matchup. That's actually a really crazy matchup to play and to watch because you have to use your tools in fairly offbeat fashions. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yes. And up finals.
Oh, he got double Jeopardy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Bad,
Dragon
man.
did get double duked by Sane.
All right, we got the man coming back up.
Yup, and Party Wolf, the man, he's coming back.
The man. Okay, what makes him the man?
What makes
let's
him
break
the
it
man?
down.
He's Party Wolf. Are you kidding me? He won with people were saying Zevo was a horrible character in Soul Calibur 5 forever. And then he showed up and started winning tournaments with him. All right.
That's all it takes most times.
But to top it off, there was a point like during the pre-release Soul Calibur 6 stuff, Party Wolf was the guy to beat. All right. I want to say he made top 8 in he got second at Evo this year, and both of his losses were to the guy who won. He's just been the guy to beat. He got 9th at ECT, but that's the only time he hasn't had a stellar performance in Soul Calibur 6.
And that's saying something. That's 9th, and that's not a stellar performance. I feel like for most people entering any major event, 9th place is pretty good. But I guess, for these guys,
Well,
not
he's
enough.
just a heavy favorite. Like, that's what heavy favorites look like. Like, if I was laying odds, if I was to pick like 4 people that I would expect to see a top 4 at East Coast Throwdown, I would have put him on the list. Like, it was just a smart money bet, but I mean, it is what it is. You can't always perform. But this one, we have a run back of the winners finals, and as run backs go, they may be a lot closer the second time around. And Sane manages to pull out the reset on this one, but he can't quite make that final push through the second set of grand finals.
I mean, it's already hard enough resetting the bracket, period. But keeping up that stamina, a lot of the time, tournament play is about stamina. Are you going to be able to keep up all of these, high-level plays, all this, mental gymnastics you have to do for sets on sets? Like, you really have to prepare yourself for stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, you got to win twice as many games, so he's going to have to win 6 matches to 3 at super hard. Yeah, it's winning grand finals out of losers is not an easy task. I mean, let's face it. Especially against somebody that you just played.
Yeah, somebody who just beat you.
Exactly. And there's no time to sit and really break it down, right? You just have to keep rolling with it, and you have to keep adapting on the fly.
Well, even then, you don't have time to sit down and really break it down because you lose winners finals. Your next question is, who do I have to play in losers finals? Then you get to watch his match, focus on that match, and when you're done, you get to play the guy who busted your face out. Oh, yeah.
He was, doing that.
Yeah, there's a Party Wolf win pose.
Okay.
It's always, great when someone does a little character-specific taunt
Yeah.
at the end
It means
there.
he's feeling himself. He's feeling good. He loved the victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, honestly, I really like the way a lot of the Soul Calibur players interact with, like, the camera. Like, RTD was trying to summon something. Zeph is up there dancing. Party Wolf's trying to stab the invisible man.
Exactly.
Soul Calibur is a very creative game.
Soul Calibur and the FGC
Yeah.
in general, we're full of personalities, so, that's what's up. Bibulus,
All right.
thank you so much for your breakdown, your special guest breakdown, chiming in from Skype. We really appreciate you taking your time out to join us today and covering the Soul Calibur action. It's a new game. I feel like a lot of hype has been built around this game so far, and it hasn't been disappointing. I feel like all the tournaments so far have been pretty exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the game goes from here. So, yeah.
Yeah, Namco's really knocking it out of the park this year with these fighting games. Dragon Ball Z, Tekken, and now Soul Calibur 6. So 2019 looks like to be a good year for Soul Calibur 6. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and you guys should be too, but for now, don't go anywhere. We're going to kick it to a quick break, but when we get back, we're going to cover some upcoming events and getting a little bit of Tekken insight from the master himself, Jackie Tran. So stick around. We're going to hit a quick break, but we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. And we're back. Thank you guys for sticking around. I mean, we didn't make you wait too long. All is well. But yeah, so those recent events, that was just two of many, right? Because there are so many events now. Esports is booming and things are happening. Things are growing. Events are popping up left and right. So those are just a few events that we've covered. But moving forward, we're going to be talking so much esports, and we're going to be bringing in special guests left and right. You guys aren't even going to have to worry about where to go because you're going to come here first. So we're going to talk about some upcoming events now because, yeah, there's just a lot on the calendar. It's already coming towards the end of the year. But, yeah, you know, still upcoming events are happening. There's still a lot going on in the rest of the year. So let's get to something coming up this weekend, which is the Tekken World Tour.
Ooh, Tekken, my favorite game, my favorite fighting game. So the Tekken World Tour Finals is happening in Amsterdam this weekend, going on, and some of my friends are already arriving, and they're taking pictures of Amsterdam, and you know they're excited. They're gonna have an LCQ, so this LCQ is pretty crazy. LCQ, I think there's only one winner. They're gonna have like 320 plus players fighting for this last spot. So the top 20 players move on to fight for the World Championships of Tekken. 19 spots are already filled, and the 20th spot is going to be decided from this LCQ. So a lot of my friends, I don't know if I had a favorite to pick for this LCQ. I do have a couple friends that are going to be participating, so.
I mean, this LCQ is like hundreds of entrants, though, right?
Yeah, it's like over 300. Yeah.
It's not like just some LCQ or a few people are entering. It's literally every heavy hitter that is not currently qualified.
Yeah, there's
so
many strong players, and I can't wait to see how this unfolds. And yeah, who's crowned the Tekken Iron Fist champion of Tekken 7?
I know, it should be interesting. I mean, let's talk about some of the people who are already qualified, right? The LCQ is obviously for people who are trying to get their last chance qualifier.
Right.
So, you know, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but looking at who's already qualified, naming off the top three, we have Ni, Jianding, and Kurans.
Yeah. All
wow.
legends of the game. They're all killers.
Yeah. Break that down real quick, because that sounds OD.
Okay, so Ni is probably, I would say, favored to win the tournament. Also, a lot of them considered the strongest player in the world. He plays multiple characters at a high level, and he's won multiple events throughout this tour. John Ding, he's kind of a newer player, but he's been around the block for a while. He's also Korean. He's been to, I think, the most events this year. Him and Dimeback have been to the most events this year. So John Ding is also a huge favorite to win. And Q-Dons is also the reigning champion from last year, 2017, and he kind of was a breakout player who came out from like a 10-year hiatus to play, and you know, rocking the Devil Jin. And so that top three right there is just so strong. It'd be hard to pick a winner or a favorite out of those three, for sure.
And, you know, that's three of how many people are qualified? 20?
19 are qualified, and the 20th players.
All right. And, you know, so 19 are qualified, 20th place is the LCQ winner, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we're taking a quick look here at who's at, you know, the tipping point. So 19th place, Jimmy J. Tran.
Jimmy J, shout out to Jimmy J, NorCal.
Right, he's a veteran in the scene, but at the cusp, what's up with that?
I mean, he likes to take it easy, or, you know, he might not try to go to every event, but this year he went to just enough to barely squeak in at number 19 with 460 points. So shout out to Jimmy. It's pretty amazing that he was able to accomplish this, even though, you know, he didn't go to every event.
Yeah, I mean, that's just 50 short points away from the 20th place, which is Dimeback, who you're pretty familiar with,
yeah,
right?
Dimeback's a good friend of mine, and I've been rooting for him a lot, and he's been to a lot of events also, and, you know, Tekken is such a strong, hard game that it was just hard for him to qualify, and he barely missed out, so, you know, I wish him good luck at the LCQ, and, hopefully he gets to get in there.
Yeah,
So.
how do you feel about his chances in LCQ? Because I know it's pretty stacked, but this is Diamondback after all. I've been watching his videos a lot recently.
Yeah, I think Diamondback is the best Asuka in the world, so that's pretty high. But like you said, there's only one winner and like over 300 something players trying to fight for this one spot, so it's gonna be hard. I would say he could maybe make it into the top 8, but we'll see what happens once that happens. So.
Okay, so you say, best Asuka in the world, but we have Fergus here up at 12th place, also with Asuka. I don't know. I think I'm going to need some explaining here.
Well,
Diamondback's the best, but what's up? Fergus is already qualified.
Yeah, maybe on paper it looks like Fergus is the best Asuka right now, but we'll see after this tournament or how Fergus does.
I mean, are there any major differences between Diamondback and Fergus?
Fergus comes from Europe and Diamondback comes from Korea, so that's kind of like a difference in communities, or I would consider Korea a stronger community than Europe.
So what does that really say about Diamondback and Fergus? If Diamondback's from a stronger community and Fergus is placed higher.
I mean, maybe it's easier for Fergus to be considered the best Asuka if he's coming from Europe, which might be a little lighter or softer community than Korea. So, it's hard to say who's the best. But they're definitely both top 2.
Have they faced off against each other?
I think they've played each other a couple times in tournament, but it's hard to say who's better just off that. You kind of have to go off overall tournament performance and how they do against other players, top players and stuff like that. So I think they're both very strong players. They're both obviously in the top 20 in the world.
Okay.
So we'll see how this weekend unfolds.
Yeah, that is coming up this weekend. And, before we move on, I know Tran's going to jump into a breakdown very soon. But one last question about these standings before we get there. We do have Saint coming in 4th, JDCR coming in 6th. 2 players recently dropped from Echo Fox, going into the World Tour, already qualified. What's that about? I don't know. I feel like that was a mistake.
I don't know if it's a mistake, but 2 players that are well-deserving. You're both EVO champions.
Heavy hitters. These guys are no slouches. It's kind of crazy.
Esports is tough. Echo Fox, maybe they're making some adjustments or moves on their team, so both these players won't be free agents for long, no doubt. They're both homies of mine, so they're both very strong players, and they're both going to make it very far in this tournament. So, it's a shame that they're not sponsored through this tournament, but it could be a blessing, going to this tournament as a free agent or whatnot. So
exactly, you never know. Wishing the best for these guys going into Tekken World Tour, but I think it's time to break it down. I know you wanted to go over grand finals of a recent event.
So my favorite match of the World Tour 2018 was Book versus Nee, and this is in Thailand. It's called Tiger Uppercut 2018, and
this is the reset, right?
So the little backstory on this match is that Nee actually knocked Book into losers 3-1 early in this tournament. So kind of like a run back we had earlier with Tim and Soul Calibur. So Book is trying to run it back here. And I think Paul he decided to pick Paul one time. But for the most part, I think Nee went with Kazuya. So, yeah. And Book being the local boy from Thailand, and Nee being the best player coming off a victory from final round. So he's going for 2 straight, master event victories here. And yeah, Book's trying to make this comeback here.
So from the first set, going into this reset, what was that like? Because right now we're covering the reset, but the first one was a lot closer, right?
Yeah, so after Nee knocked Book in the losers from the winners bracket, the reset was actually 3-1. So it was very convincing. Like you said earlier, that when players are coming from the losers bracket, they have a lot of momentum. So maybe Nee got cold a little bit, waiting around for him to play, waiting around for the winner of the losers finals. And then a combination of that and Book having some momentum coming from the losers, man, and after the reset. So this is the reset we're watching here. It's 0-0, 1 round apiece.
And what do you think about this Paul pick? Because he wasn't using this character in the first set.
Okay, so the Paul pick was to try to do something different to throw him off, because Kazuya, it worked in the winners finals, but it did not work in the reset 3-1. So he wanted to try to set the tempo off for this reset and try to get like a quick start to this or quick 1-0. Yeah. So.
How do you feel about the matchup between you two? Was he a good character to pick for this reset to try to do that?
I think Paul might have been a good change from Kazuya, but Kazuya was working. I just think it all depends on how you're playing going in. So Book was playing very hot coming in, so it might not even matter what character that Nee switched to. But as you can see right now, Nee is just, or Book's just on fire right now. He just beat Nee in the reset 3-1, and it looks like he's about to be straight on this Paul. So maybe it was a mistake switching to Paul.
Maybe so, because it's looking like that's a free point on the board. And then, I may have seen this footage a little bit.
Yeah.
And now that he switches characters. So how do you feel? Because I have also noticed, even back during Red Bull Conquest, that a lot of Tekken players have pocket characters. They have different characters for different matchups. So what kind of role do you think that plays going into tournament play?
Yeah, there are certain matchups that you might find troubling, so it's good to have a secondary character, and you might have an easier time with that, even though your main character is better than your secondary. So in this case, Nee just went back to the Kazuya. This is what was working before. Even though he lost in the reset, I'm just going to go back to it. Paul was not working. He almost got no round brown, or in this case, almost didn't even get around in there. So he went back to Kazuya. And it's hard to stop somebody with momentum coming in here. He just got reset, and he's down the first game. So this is a very important key match for Nee here.
But so far so good. He got the first round there, but wow. I think it's difficult in this game particularly because you might gain the momentum, but the second you start feeling comfortable, like everything goes another way. I don't know. Is that just the pace of Tekken in general?
Yeah, it's kind of like fast-paced chess, and if somebody is on fire or has momentum, it's hard to check them or stop them. So, that's the game. The game is constantly adjusting to each other.
Yeah, and what a dominating round.
Yeah.
I feel like most of these rounds, they'll either be all the way in favor of one person or the other. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're definitely slugging it out here. They're both trying to play patient, but they're finding their moments here to go for something big here.
So what do you feel about this matchup in general between these two characters?
I think it's pretty even, but Jin is very strong. This match was actually Season 1, but there's been a Season 2 patch, and Jin is not, if not the same, better. So
which type of changes did they implement into him?
They just gave him a couple little more additions to his game. So he's pretty much the same character, but they gave him a few more extensions. So some of his combos and wall combos are better. And he was already a strong character from before. He also has a parry, which is very strong tool to deal with other players and their craziness. Wow, this wall pressure.
And how often has these guys played against each other? Is it?
This was probably their first meeting of the year.
Oh, okay. Wow, the whole year. This is the first time. This is the first.
Well, this tournament was maybe the second biggest.
Okay.
Second master or big event of the tour.
Nice.
Final round being the first master event. So, Nee coming off his victory at final round. This was like his. All right, let me go for 2 in a row.
Right.
Let me test you, and he's not necessarily a Kazuya main. Nee actually plays 4 or 5 characters at a super high level. So, in a way, he's kind of being stubborn because he doesn't want to. He wants to beat him with this character that he's decided to beat him with. It's not necessarily his main character, but
right, because I think I've heard through the grapevine that Nee's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
Ooh. Yeah. So now here, Book's up 2-0. Switch the stage. I don't know if that was a good idea, but this stage is very crazy with the floor breaks and.
Yeah, just like a lot of extra potential damage, right? With all of these
but sometimes you just need a
additions.
momentum change. So regardless if it's going to be in your favor or not, Nee just needed something to throw him off. He's down 0-2. He just got reset. He's got to win. And another thing about this is that he's committed to this character. So
right.
he has to. If he wants to win the set, he has to win it with Kazuya. He's got to win 3 straight. So.
I mean, what do you think are the main things to look out for in this matchup?
I think this matchup is very space heavy and movement heavy. So, a lot of these players are shimmying and moving around and waiting for each other to whiff. they're both not the. Ooh, so that was a good punish. So a lot of patience. Both looking for that big hit.
Hashtag patience.
Yeah, that's right. I think Kazooie does well in dealing with Jin and some of his stuff. So he can punish some of his lows better than other characters. But I think Jin is just so strong, and I don't think he has any bad matchups, and he can fight the other Mishimas very well also.
So at this point, it's 2-0,
Yeah.
right? Is this something that people aren't used to seeing? Because I remember you talking a lot about who's the best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so people aren't used to seeing Nee being down here, and he just won final round. So, but this is Book. We've heard of Book before. He's from Thailand, so a country that you might not see a lot of exposure from, but us Tekken players know who he is, and he's very strong. Probably the best Jin in the world, I would consider. So.
And it looks like he's been dominating this reset pretty heavily so far. Do you notice anything in particular in his gameplay that's giving him that advantage?
Yeah, I think he's definitely playing more confident. He's definitely see a lot of these dashing in his face, and his combos and his neutral game, everything, his pokes, and he's not being scared of Nee. A lot of people were scared of him, so. Looks like he's...
Right, that is a thing, right? Like people talk about top player privilege all the time, but I feel like that goes beyond, IRL. That is a mental thing when you're playing against a top player. It's so easy to psych yourself out because these guys are good players, but that's losing half the battle right there, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like having your mind on something before the match even starts, so... I have experience with that personally with me and other players, and also with me and some of these other guys, so it's definitely hard to deal with, and it's definitely a big part of the game, for sure. But maybe Book has the home court advantage because he's in Thailand. Mm-hmm. He has the crowd behind him, and there's people cheering for him, so.
Ooh, and then the legs.
Yeah.
Closing
As you
it
can
out.
see,
Yeah,
so
everybody getting
these people are hype, and they're happy, super happy, we just beat the best player. Ooh. Shout outs to Book, man. That was a huge victory.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. And, I was trying to look. Oh, yeah. Book is number 11 right now on the Tekken World Tour standings, which means you guys will see him this weekend at the Tekken World Tour. That's going down in Amsterdam.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for
Book. I'm jealous. So. I'm pretty jealous.
Me too.
But it's all good. Great breakdown, like resetting a bracket against one of the best in the world, and then taking it 3-0 after that, it's got to feel pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a good feel-good story, and, it kind of brought Nee down to earth because he just won that final round the year before that, or the tournament right before that, so, he wasn't an alien, he was human, so.
Exactly. So, with that said, it's going to close down our little analysis and breakdown for the Tekken World Tour. But we do have another event we want to cover before we keep things rolling. Let's go ahead and introduce our special guest.
Yeah, so we got my man here, Troy, going to show us some League of Legends.
Guys, how you doing? My name is Troy. I play League of Legends. I've been playing since beta.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many seasons? That's like 8 seasons, right?
No, 9.
9 seasons coming up.
Right now, and the first one technically didn't count.
Okay.
So quite a bit, actually.
Well, before we move forward, is your microphone on? Let's check that first.
Let's get that sound going.
No.
All right, take number 2. We're introducing our very special guest for our next segment here. So.
Sorry about that.
We got my man Troy going to talk to us about some League of Legends here.
What's going on, guys? My name is Troy. I've been playing League since beta. I'm from here, live in Vegas. So a local here, I go to all the tournaments that happen out here. If I can find a team or not, just hop on in,
Yeah, I mean, that's the struggle of team games, right?
You need the team.
You need the team. Oh, first strike there. Anyways, been playing since beta. You've been holding it down for the Vegas community?
Yes, I have. Only person I haven't been able to beat consistently is RJ, so that's always fun.
Wow. Why is that? I don't know. Tell us about that.
He's just good at the game. He's good at everything. RJ is the best.
Fair enough. Humble man admitting the defeat, but hopefully you can break it down and come back strong and beat him one day.
All right.
All right. But let's break down something else right now. What do we have coming up next weekend? 12th 12/6, December 6th through the 8th, right?
We
Special
have
event.
the All-Stars event coming here to Vegas in the Esports Arena. It's going to be 3 days. We're going to have 32 pros from across the world and 32 special invited Riot people.
Okay,
Streamers, content creators, people that work at Riot, like Freak. And then they also said there may be some secret people hopping in and out, like our Toxic Monkey Tyler. Let's go.
Ooh, all right. Should be interesting. Any
Yeah,
favorites
super.
on your end?
The favorites for that specific event. Actually, before I talk my favorite thing for the event is going to be Sneaky and Bang cosplaying as Zaya and Rakan.
Yes.
So which one's which?
Yes.
I don't know. We do know, but we don't know.
I'm just like gonna go ahead and take my moment to say that Sneaky is probably one of the best things I've seen in a long time because he just does it so well, you know.
He does it too well.
I'm not throwing shade to any of the ladies in the game. You guys are all killing it. But let's be real. Let's throw a little bit of credit to Sneaky because every time I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm like, damn, this cosplay's good. And I'm like, oh, good shit, Sneaky. All right, you're doing the damn thing like every time. So I'm a fan. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So.
I mean, I play AD carry too a little bit. I watch Sneaky stream a lot, but you know, seeing this side of him is kind of like it's interesting.
Yeah, Sneaky is an interesting man. I'll leave it at that.
I'm a fan. All right, I'm a fan.
But my favorites for the event. So they're every single pro player is going to be doing their one-on-one.
Oh, nice.
So you have Double Lift, you have Uzi, who won last year. You have Faker coming back in it. We have Caps. And I believe they're letting some of the special guests, because they're still pros, play in it, like Licorice. So I'm pretty excited for those events. They're also doing a charity 2v2 event.
Nice. Charity.
Big fan for charity, yes.
Guys, it's the holiday season, all right? You better be giving a charity.
Come on,
That's all I'm
toys for the
saying.
tots. Let's
Do it
go.
for the kids.
Do it for the tots.
So how do you feel about some of these big roster moves or changes here in League?
Oh my God, there's way too many. You have SKT building themselves their own super team.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they have Crazy in the top lane along with Khan. They have Sid in the Sid. I'm not really sure. CLID is what it is. They have him in the jungle. Everyone's Korea was excited for this man. He was #1 destroying ladder in Korea. You have Faker, of course, in mid lane. He resigned when they promised to build a team around him. Then you have Teddy, who's been doing his own thing in Jin Air, I believe. But he's been 1v9ing over there. Now he's coming to SKT to be along with Faker and the rest of the crew. And then you have Effort in the bot lane support. So that's one. That's the most exciting one. And for NA, you have basically Goku versus Vegeta, which is
Shout out to Dragon Ball.
Team. Yeah, exactly. Team Liquid. They got so much. They picked up so much. They got Jensen coming over, and then they got Someday.
So just come from Cloud9.
Someday. I'm sorry. Someday is going to 100 Thieves.
Oh, okay.
But no, yeah, Jensen came over. Then they're getting rid of their AD carry. No, they're support.
That's double.
Oh, okay.
Support. They got Core JJ. They brought Core JJ. See, 100 Thieves got rid of their AD carry twice. One of them is he's being sent to the free agency, but he's not going to be playing on a team this year. It's unfortunate. But back to Team Liquid. They got Core JJ, a former world champion, in the bot lane, along with Double Lift.
Danger. I'm a huge double lift fan.
That's a huge swing for them. That they almost would have won off season of the year with that one move for NA, but then 100 Thieves came back. They picked up Bang from SKT, Someday in the top lane, and then Huhi in the mid lane.
All right, so who's your favorite coming up this season?
I'm personally a TSM fan, but they also got rid of one of my favorite players, Hunter, in the top lane, for a guy named Broken Blade.
I mean, it's sounding like we're seeing a lot of roster changes here. Why do you think that is?
Because last season, all right, so in this World Championship, everyone got so close. Everyone realized, don't play Korea's game, play your game. That's what this entire world has been, play your game, and that's been doing very well. So let's make a change. Everyone else made a change, let's make a big change. And then Team Liquid's like, I have money, take it. The usual thing. 100 Thieves, since they did so well, they got to Worlds. I'm pretty sure they got some more sponsorships. And that's more funding their money, so they're allowed to pick up more and more better players. So they're taking an opportunity of what's on the field right now, and then everyone else is trying to grab what they can.
I
So-
feel you.
I think more everybody's trying to win. That's what that means.
Yeah, of course. Everyone's trying to win, which means also, I'm gonna throw a hot take question at you real quick. Everyone's trying to win, which means metas are changing. People are experimenting with new things. Hot take: are ADCs dead?
Yes, ADC is dead.
What is that? I was like, ADCs are dead.
All
dude.
hail
ADCs are
Karthus
done.
bot lane because he is our Lord and Savior and will sing us a beautiful song. And he's busted.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of mages down there.
yeah.
A lot of
That,
mages down there.
whatever you want to build, just get Dark Harvest. You'll be fine. You're.
Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I play League, but I don't play normals. I play a lot of ARAMs. And back in the day, whenever I got an ADC and ARAMs, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be great. Now I'm like, oh no, I don't want to play ADC. And the matches I have been seeing of normal games and people trying to rank up, I've just been seeing a lot of mages down in the bot lane. I'm like, man, ADCs are dead. All right, cool.
They're a little dead. They're not fully dead, but they dying.
What
They are
can
dying.
change that will bring them back to the meta?
All right, so the reason why mages are going down there, so an AD carry, they need 3 power spikes to be useful most of the time, unless you're playing Draven or something more specific. Mages just need 1 item. Oh, I got a Lich Bane, or I got a Luden's Echo. I'm like, I'm gonna come hit you. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. So it's like when you have those kind of power spikes for a lot, like 1,000 less gold, it's so much easier. Why would I play that when I can just play this? I'll be just as strong, and that I can put 80 somewhere else. So it's like, why not just do that?
So maybe it's also harder to build MR than it would be
Yeah.
armor, right?
Yeah, for an 80 carry to build MR, they would have to, their best item would be the boots, the Merc Treads, along with getting a Hex Drinker. And it's like, well, now I'm delaying that expensive item that I needed so I have to buy all these other items. So it's a lot, it's very unfortunate for 80 carry. They are the weakest roles. God forbid I do not play that. I'm not going down there.
The struggle role.
Because right now in bot lane, it's literally all about your support. Like the 80 carry position is super irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just getting pretty cutthroat down there in the bot lane. But last thing before we close out this League of Legends segment, which players at this All-Star event are you thinking are going to be, the MVPs? You got to name them right now.
All right, one, Faker. Always fan favorite.
Okay.
Uzi, he always wins the 1v1s. I'm hoping I'm a cutie pie who's also showing up.
My favorite.
Yep.
I hope he memes it up, bring his little dirty white tee on the stage.
He's my favorite League streamer.
So I'm excited to see him play. And then also the event, Irf's going to be there. High's going to be playing for NA there. So I'm excited for that because every time he goes, it's hilarious. He always does something stupid or what you're not supposed to do, the exact opposite.
It's Earth.
Yeah, Irf's going to be there also.
Exciting.
I mean, I love me some ARAMs. So. All right, you guys just holla at me when ARAMs becomes competitive. Ranked ARAMs, come on, let's make it happen. Anyways, thank you so much. That is going to wrap it up for our upcoming events. But don't worry, we have a lot of other upcoming events headed your way because even though it's the end of the year, the season is not over. December is actually looking pretty crazy, and that's just leading into 2019. But for now, we're going to kick it over to a quick break, but we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. Okay.
And we're back with the breakdown here. Jackie Tran and Persia here.
Yes, we are back. Thank you for sticking around. Needed a moment to collect ourselves, but we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and honestly, I feel like the first episode has been pretty great.
Yeah.
I don't know, how do you guys feel? How have you been enjoying the show so far? We have been checking out your comments, and we definitely appreciate the positive feedback so far because this is the first episode. Shout outs to F Happy for saying, yo, this looks fresh. I agree. We kind of worked really hard on our brand new set here because GamingLyfe Network houses many really awesome shows. The King and the Nerd, hosted by King Meech and Nerdwife. That goes down weekly every Sunday.
Yep. And then we have Akil, the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Bring you guys some hardcore gaming news.
Yeah. So make sure you check that out because he just had an episode this past Tuesday, which is really funny. So make sure you tune into that. And then, of course, the breakdown is going down every Thursday. Taking a look at some more comments here from you guys. Ghost says, Double Lift has a habit of boasting and then ending up not performing. You said that was one of your favorites. What do you think? Oh, wait. No, you didn't. He said he was one of his favorites. So what do you think about that? Double Lift not performing?
I think it's a big job he has. But I think Double Lift is one of the best just players in general. He's a good person. He's a good player. You know, he might be on a team that's trying to make changes and all that, but you notice that he's still on the team, so.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen a lot of roster changes, a lot of drops. So, I mean, it speaks volumes that he's still sticking around. So, yeah, we'll see what goes down next weekend with the League of Legends
Can we read this one?
action. Salty Yugi says, Jackie Tran is the best.
Yes.
All right, of course, we'll say that for you, just for you. All right.
That's right.
It's kind of true, but it's okay. It's okay. That's why he's the host of the show. But it's all good. Let's see. F Happy also said, if you're a sub for GL, does that mean you're a sub for this show? Yes. If you are subscribed to GamingLyfe Network, that means you are subscribed to this show and every other piece of content that GamingLyfe has to offer. If you're only subscribed here on Twitch, don't forget we have a YouTube channel. We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter. We have a Facebook. We're kind of everywhere. So feel free to give us a follow. Without GamingLyfe, the breakdown would not be possible. So please, please show your support. And speaking of support, you guys know more than anybody else. Well, maybe you don't. I know we know more than anybody else how important it is to support your locals. I feel like supporting your locals has been a hot take as of late, especially with certain arcades kind of not doing very well, certain arcades shutting down, which is so heartbreaking to see.
Yes.
You know, we don't want to see that.
I mean, I came from the arcade era, so it's definitely heartbreaking and saddening to hear about certain places closing, but, you know, maybe that will bridge our way to the future with esports, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, every week we are going to aim to do a hashtag support your locals segment in which we kind of just highlight all the locals going on around the world, I guess you could say. We're in Las Vegas right now, gaming capital of the world.
Capital of the world, that's right.
And there are centers and, you know, LAN centers and esports arenas just popping up left and right. Esports arena, which is now the HyperX Esports Arena. We also have The Wall, we have Wolf and Lamb, we have GameWorks, we have PSG, which just celebrated their, 5-year anniversary of just holding it down for the Las Vegas scene. So there are a lot of locals here putting on local tournaments, local events, local shindigs. We got Street Fighter, we got Marvel, we got, you know, all the way around League of Legends, Fortnite, everything in between is going down here in Vegas. And if that's happening here, then we know that there is more happening everywhere else in the country. So please, find us on Twitter, at Persia_XO, at Jackie Tran 1984 on Twitter, at GamingLyfe.net on Twitter. Send us your locals. We want to be able to highlight you guys too. We want to be able to get back. We want to be able to help get the word out about what's going on weekly everywhere in the country. So hashtag support those goddamn locals, you guys. Send us your information.
That's right. I wouldn't be the player I am without my locals, so I am 110% supportive of my locals, and I think everybody else out there should definitely get out there and push them locals. So
yeah. And we're going to try to highlight as much of those as possible coming, you know, to you in the next episode, which is going to be next Thursday. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we are going to be here holding it down for you guys, covering esports topics. I know it was a lot of fighting game stuff this week, but we also had a little bit of League of Legends in there, and we're going to have other events coming up because there is actually a lot on the calendar coming up in December and beyond.
Yeah, December is jam-packed. We have Capcom Cup coming to you guys. We have Call of Duty. We have Rainbow Six. So Vegas being the esports capital of the world, I am blessed to live here and help cover, bring you guys this esports action for all these events. So super hyped, super excited.
It's gonna be really great because we're gonna be here holding it down for you guys, and just so many events coming at you that I'm excited for. It just so happens that it's in Las Vegas, which is pretty great, but also maybe a sign of what's to come in the future. But it only means that great things are happening, and we're gonna be here to cover it. This was the first episode of the breakdown, you guys, and every single episode from here on out is only gonna be bigger and better.
That's right.
But thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
It was kind of great. Any final words to our fans?
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, showing us some love and support, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, next week, 6 p.m. PST on GLLive.tv. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.